Does internet porn know you're cheating on it?
Hey everyone, welcome back today. We got Kung Fu Hotdog again. And this time he is talking about Monster Hunter Wilds. I have not looked into this at all. I know there's a beta kind of going on right now. Open beta? Maybe it's a demo. I'm not quite sure. I'm big into Monster Hunter, but I kind of have my waves on and off, and I generally keep my information really low in between. So each one kind of surprises me because they do innovate on each one, and then they have Team A and Team B going. So this is the same team that made Monster Hunter Worlds. I am more of a fan of the other team because they tend to experiment more, and they're just like more, not quite action combat based, but they really go much harder into the combat, and I absolutely love it. Last one, which one was it? Was it Rise? Yeah, Rise. That's what it was called. Base game, like most Monster Hunters, very hit and miss, but damn, the expansion just made it S tier, just like every other Monster Hunter. Once they get their expansion out, that's when you really get into it and really buy it. I might wait on this one until the expansion's out, because I usually buy the one copy and then buy the expansion, and then after the expansion is out, you can usually buy them comboed together. So I think for this one, I'll probably wait for the expansion because I got to go back and I do got to finish some of Rise still. A lot of the update monsters in that. All right. And yeah, let's just get into it.
You know what, folks? Life can be an absolute drag. Well, that is if you're a big fan of BioWare and Dragon Age the Veilguard.
Top surgery scars are also included in this for all of our trans and non-binary.
Stunning and brave.
Come on over here.
So brave.
Oh, man.
With the murky waters this game has.
Someone pointed it out in another video, and now I can't really unsee it, but a lot of the characters look like they're ripped straight out of Shrek. I don't think it was Asmongold or Legendary Drops. Oh, it's on the tip of my mind who that was. Oh, maybe it was Skill Up. Yeah. Usually not a fan of his reviews, but, well, I was a fan, so I should say, like, I've had up and down with him, and he's just, I don't think he's been too great lately. He used to be absolutely amazing, of course. That's what blew up his channel. But lately, not really have a lot of problems with him and his channel, but yeah, his recent review was great. It was almost back to the level of his older reviews, without quite the same level of wordplay or storytelling that he usually winds into it. That's what made him big in the first place. But yeah, it was a pretty good review, and he was mentioning how a lot of the characters remind you of the people from Shrek, and it's just like specifically Prince Charming, I think it was, and you can't get it out of your mind once you see it. And yeah, it was a pretty good review. I'll give him that. Not a fan lately of his reviews, but it was good. All right, let's continue.
Has managed to create in the space of a month, maybe even more, is absolutely hilarious. And this article, courtesy of Grums over on Twitter and That Part Place, will shed some new light on the hilarity of this game and why BioWare, well, I don't know why they're trying to remove this clip offline, because
there are so many clips out there going viral.
And if they make an attempt to come after my coverage of it, I'm going to make sure I do a massive slam dunk and hit them right in the nards.
The name's Nukem. Duke Nukem. No, I'm not here to kick ass or chew bubblegum. I'm not.
Oh man, I missed the 80s and 90s. So much testosterone.
I'm here to tell you to watch Jason King on Kung Fu Hot Dog. So watch out for him. And his babes of the 1980s. Oh, and one more thing. Hail to the king, baby.
Force the darkness. Force it. Yes. Cast it into the light. Be gone with you. So yes, as I've said already, they're allegedly scrambling to remove gameplay footage of their ill-fated title.
Yeah, I've seen quite a few clips. I was one of those people I didn't mind Inquisition. It had probably the best combat of the three. And wow, let's just say its writing was really horrible. But I didn't mind the gameplay loop. It was okay. And at that point, open world games weren't just. They offered a lot of content for your money. And at that point, not every single game was an open world checklist like they are now. So I had my fun with it. I was thinking at least one part of this game had to be good because even their duds like Anthem and Andromeda had amazing combat, especially once you really got into it and further into the game. But this game, oh, it looks terrible, everything. And the clips that I've seen, I can't believe that that level of writing passed by anyone. Like you could tell it was not rewritten due to any like sort of criticism or open eye, because I bet the people felt like if they said anything about it, they would get in trouble. It's that type of like, I think Skill Up said is like HR is in the room. That's definitely a good way to put it. And it's just mix of pandering and just adolescent writing, like how people will talk down to you, not just these specific people, but just, ooh. It's like a high schooler's fanfic that they write or used to write when MySpace were a thing and they'd like post on forums or MySpace. It's like that level of cringe and bad.
Due to a really terrible virtue signal.
Oh, yeah, they even use the word cringe in this article.
Look at this character right again. I've featured her in my thumbnails before. The big, massive head. Oh, I'm walking around because this is a AAA Western video game design. Oh, look at me. Propaganda in our entertainment has become a real problem, and it's the one video game industry is just beginning to suffer under fully. Now, by the way, apparently Sweet Baby Inc. have teamed up with another consultancy group to get their stuff out there. It's like Sweet Baby Inc. know that they can't survive on their own, but they're looking for other...
Yeah, their name is forever tarnished.
After the summer of 2020, many major video game companies committed to bring in...
All of these companies, even specifically DEI itself, has been rebranding its own name. So it's just... People are going to catch on. They're going to notice. It doesn't matter if you rename it. You have to actually change the people behind it and the people enforcing it.
Consultation companies that were supposed to help them with diversity and storytelling. Yeah, we all need that, don't we? Instead, games of today now having...
I don't know if you can hear it in the background. Hopefully not. So I did try to fix my audio, but dog's running around all crazy. His little squeaker duck toy.
Been in development more often, even before the pandemic, because in the pandemic, people are playing a lot more video games, and therefore a lot more video game developers were producing more titles. So even before all of that, everything that you get now, they're all educational courses in gender ideology and diversity, because that's a source of...
What are you doing, buddy? Come on. Hey. Come here. What are you doing? You're being noisy? It's okay.
Investment, right? That's for your ESG nonsense. Still, as
always needs his butt scratched.
It has pained us to see the gaming industry damaged by losses such as Concord, Star Wars Outlaws, Dustborn, and Flintlock, don't forget that, and more. We've reached a new level of awful with Drag on Age Veilguard. According to a veteran gaming developer, the situation is so bad that badware
Why you headbutt me?
is allegedly attempting to have certain gameplay sequences.
He's such a big baby.
How can he do that? Do you know what this reminds me of? That god-awful opening ceremony for the Paris Olympics this year when they mocked the Last Supper. They had to walk all that footage back, and all you can show was a still from that ceremony, but it...
Besides Dustborn in this game, yeah, the Olympics were probably the most cringiest thing to come out of the woke side of thing, if you will. This year, it's just, it's been a terrible year.
That people knew what they were doing. It's so bad. It's a terrible look. So, yeah, let's have a look at this because I have to warn you.
Oh, I think this is one of the clips that I've already seen. Yeah, there's so many viral clips right now, and they're all pretty terrible. And remember, people are just starting this game out. Wait to see what's posted in like a week or two once people have gone through a lot of the scripting. It is going to be much worse than this. This is a terrible clip.
I need to get back. I need to brace you for this, folks. This is going to be absolutely cringe-worthy for you and I.
Oh, it hurts. I don't want to watch this again.
It has to be done. Let's do it, baby.
It's that level of bad.
She's still holding the ruby in her other hand. Maker's panties. I was so proud. Oh.
I just got to interrupt that there. They say Maker's panties. Oh. Like, that's like the equivalent of saying Makers, oh Makers, or something they were saying in other games. It's like, oh God. But you will never hear anyone not only say that in real life, but imagine if a straight person had said Maker's underwear or Maker's thongs or God's thongs. Oh, like, what kind of writing is this? Who's it for? This is so... It's so disingenuous. It's... You can't really put it into words. It's just so terrible. It just... And this is just the first thing that really stands out to me as someone who has played the other Dragon Age games. But it's... Yeah, let's get on with it. There's something else not in the dialogues that's extra cringy. I don't know if you guys will spot it. Let's just go ahead and I'll stop it right after.
Ah, shit. They're still holding it. Sorry. What are you doing?
Oh, and the Canary. Oh, they're so ugly and badly done. Oh, it hurts.
So you paid £70 or $70 to play this guy.
Oh, I wish $70. Here, new games after tax are about $110 for the base version. Remember, there's always extra editions. That's for the base version without all the content. By the way, this game was sailing on the high seas on day one. No, I did not grab it. I did not try it. I'm just saying they were too cheap to sink even any more money to put it like under de novo. That, yeah, it was just pirated instantly. And I believe all EA games either use it at release, or they have like an always online connection. So the fact that it wasn't in this one is a bit odd.
Garbage, where a fairly attractive but covered up female called Neve. Oh no, I've misgendered somebody. Now I've got to give you 20 push-ups.
Oh, don't.
So
Wait, I won't ruin it.
What is Corinne Bush, the developer, the destroyer of Dragon Age Veilguard, what are they saying here? If you misgender somebody outside and you get it wrong, are you supposed to get down on the floor and do 50 push-ups on a stone cold concrete pavement over a pile of dog shit? Is that what you're supposed to do? Are you meant to make up for your transgressions? Oh, that's a horrible use, because you
I love puns.
Somebody. And this character here, Tash, the Quinari, who's been effed up beyond all recognition, they have multiple multicultural ethnicities they identify with, because apparently one isn't good enough.
Sorry. What are you doing? Oh, okay. A barv? Tradition in the Lords of Fortune from one of our old members, Barv. Good guy, but...
It's such a terrible name. Barv? Are you... I'm sure anyone can come up with a better name for that apology or whatever you want to call it. They say it's different from that, but it's basically an apology. What is it called when with the self-mutilation, the old Catholic people, from the movies and stuff. It was a real thing, but where you hurt yourself because you committed a sin. Yeah, just a barf. Come on.
Most of us, his plans went sideways a lot. Bad blood among your crews, not good for morale.
You have to wonder when the actress who was voicing this character of Neve was uttering this dialogue, did they actually know what the purpose of it was? Because if you're a very good thespian, you're supposed to be questioning dialogue, right? Or was the paycheck so good they thought, hey, you know what? This is dog shit writing, but I'm going to say it anyway. You do. I think, look, we do know that actors and actresses are some of the lowest moral compasses out there. Not all of them, but some of them can be. So if they're just doing this for the paycheck, well, frankly, I don't really blame them.
But there's not always time for big, drawn-out apologies. So when one of us
Did you catch it?
and we know we've screwed up, we don't.
Remember, they're pandering to everybody. The way this, I think they're supposed to be a woman. Again, this whole thing is a big pronoun mess, literally and figuratively. But the way she was doing push-ups, those weren't even woman push-ups. Like, who animated those push-ups? Who was mocapping it, if they did any mocap? No one does push-ups like that. And for, I'm guessing this is supposed to be a strong, empowered woman. Strong women would do real push-ups, not this crap. Like, what is this? It hurts to watch as someone who's trained lots before. I've done like endurance training. Anyone who's been to the gym or knows proper form or technique, that is, one, you never do girl push-ups. They're completely useless. There's better ways you can get the upper body strength. And I'm talking about full body and not using any weights. But also on top of that, it's just real push-ups. They shouldn't be difficult for anyone. Even children could do it. Little girls, I've seen it. It's not hard, people. Come on. The fact that this is, I think, the main character, I want to say, cannot do a real push-up. Not one military press, just is absolutely crazy. Very strong and empowered, very stunning and brave.
A quick 10 to put it right. Pulling above.
You know what? This
First-
kind of reminds me.
For a second, because of how cringy this video is, this clip, not this video, sorry, Kung Fu. I mean, this actual clip that he's playing. I thought that fart sound was, literally part of the clip for a second. And I was like, wait, that didn't actually happen. It's just, it's so absurd that you can totally see them just sticking that in there. And, it's that cringy. So bad.
Mocks Catholicism. If you're Catholic, right? And I'm sure.
Oh, he's getting into it. Yeah, I was talking about
Catholics. You're meant to
like Catholics that punish themselves from doing sins.
say 10 Hail Marys if you blaspheme in the eyes of the Lord, right? Am I wrong about that? So this seems to be mocking that religion, and maybe any other religion that's recognized by the world for cleansing your soul because you swore too much.
Oh, Tarsh isn't the first non-binary.
Oh no.
Tarsh isn't the first non-binary member of the Lords.
Why is Tarsh non-binary?
And just remember, people, this game, the lead person behind it, if you go to their Twitter or their X, whatever you want to call it, their tag says that they're a gay trans woman. Ooh, I'm probably going to hurt someone's feelings with this, but gay trans, that just means you like to cross-dress. Sorry, that's just the way it is. Like, I'm all supportive of all these different groups and equal rights and do what you want to do. I don't care. I've had friends of all types. I really don't give a shit. But I think gay trans is one of the lines that I do not cross. It's just like, no, they used to literally call those people just cross dressers because that's what you are. Or I guess like the female equivalent would be a tomboy, which have also disappeared because if you're a tomboy, at least in Canada, it's really bad. Like people will call you trans if you're just a classic tomboy. Like you can't just wear other genders' clothes without being considered trans now. Oh, the culture's so weird, but I don't need to tell anyone about that. It's just that's the person who's working on this game.
Really? It was a little before your time, but Horlicks was one of ours.
And correct me if I'm wrong. Yeah, gay trans because you're transitioning into the woman. Just it doesn't make any. The two are like two negatives canceling each other out. If you're gay and you're trans, at that point, you can't really make logic out of it. I know, but at that point, aren't you just straight because you're the gender that you're turning into and that you say that you actually are? So if you're a gay woman, but you were born a man, doesn't that make you straight? Or does it cross the line of where you are gay because you had maybe you had a reproductive surgery like change, but even then we're not at that point in technology where we can actually do that. It's only for looks and those. If anyone's like seen that content and where technology is, yes, it's improved lots, but we're not at that point where you can give the opposite genitalia to someone. It doesn't work like that. Once we get up to maybe Star Trek technology, yeah, okay, then you're indistinguishable. Yeah, but I don't know. Correct me if I'm wrong, but the gay and the trans kind of cancel each other out, and at that point, you're just basically straight. So I know, don't mix logic with it because it's like a cult, and just like a lot of cults, you can't fight logic with unreasonable people. So that's just how it is, sadly.
Horlicks, that's a drink. That's a nighttime beverage in the UK. So why is Tosh puzzled about the fact that he's non-binary? That's so strange.
Huh. Bastard looked better than I did in a dress or pants. And
I like how the other characters too are like silent or they really don't give a shit. Like that has to be even more ironic. These other characters, like she was just like, huh, okay, whatever, shut the fuck up. Or just like apathy of, huh. Like even the characters that they wrote on the side do not give a shit. And this person's just prattling on and on and on and on. But they don't even care, not even in the story. And that's absolutely hilarious. Obviously not intentional, but it is hilarious.
too.
So a cross-dressing male who, even when they're disrobed in front of the woman, because again, she doesn't talk about the fact that she undresses before him. It's all about, hey, look, let's objectify the male gaze right here. The bastard looked better out of his clothes as he did in them. Female clothes. This is a AAA video game from the people that brought you KOTOR and the original Mass Effect titles. Let's not forget that, folks.
Any reason you can't just apologize?
We all hope they close down before they get to butchering Mass Effect. As much as people love Dragon Age's Origins, Mass Effect is way bigger. More people love it. It was kind of like the bro game, and it was absolutely amazing. Say what you will about the third's original ending. It improved a bit with patches, but yeah, the rest of the game and the trilogy was absolutely amazing. But ooh, I think everybody kind of hopes they get shut down before they go and butcher the next Mass Effect, which is bringing back Liara, and it seems like Shepard.
Sometimes people say, oops, sorry, and hope that fixes it. But they just want to get the whole thing over with. Trust me, I know. But pulling a bath, you sweat a little. Makes you think about it a little.
Oh, and those weird like those weird like head movements, if you saw, it's like very jittery. It's kind of creepy and unsettling. I didn't notice that before in these clips.
More shows the other person you mean it.
Oh.
And what if they mean it when they say they're sorry, though?
And that's the other
It's not good enough.
Some people mess up and get all dramatic. They make it about them. Oh, you know.
They make it about them. And this entire time, that's another irony of this clip. You lose track of the amount of ironies. This person's making it literally all about them. Me, me, me. And yeah, I guess the one character asked a question finally, but the other one, and then even this one that asked a question before, like, oh, yeah, okay, yeah.
No, I didn't mean it right.
Like this has to be a parody. You gotta, like, these people troll themselves. No one needs to cover this stuff. Like, we could get rid of all the people, not just on YouTube, but everywhere, like, not covering this stuff, and everyone would still be wise enough to just see the jokes and, like, seeing just how ridiculous this is, and we could laugh in our own heads at just how crazy things have gotten, because they're a parody of themselves at this point, because that's how much preaching and tokenism and other things are in the space now. It's gotten to that point. Like, Dustboard was bad enough, but that wasn't a AAA game. This is a major AAA game from a major AAA studio, from a major AAA publisher. That's 9 A's.
On purpose. They feel so bad about it that it's on everyone else to smooth it over and make them feel better. Oh.
It's so bizarre, isn't it? Actually, that line of dialogue makes me think, right? They make it all about them. So if somebody walks into a store and says, I am ma'am, you call me ma'am, they're making it about themselves in that moment in time. It's not about the person.
Yeah, just for attention, those people.
And again, when the fuck are you going to stop using that phrase, misgendered somebody? Nobody has the time of day for that nonsense. If you see somebody outside that looks like an actual freak of nature, just carry on walking and mind your own business. Maybe cast them a quick look or disapproval and move on with your life. Don't stand there and start apologizing.
Yeah, too many people get stuck on things and they just can't move on with their life. My last video was like that. It's kind of like a nod to my soon-to-be, or just like hitting that 50 video mark already, which is absolutely amazing. And I've had tons of great reception on my channel. And yeah, I just had, like, my video for Ryan George was split in half for the people who loved it and the people who hated it. And I just had to do a second, like, my next reaction. I did a few video gameplays in between, as I'm kind of editing my own thing with the Batman VR game that just came out. But my next reaction after Ryan George, and I just recorded it, was another Ryan George video, because you have to piss off the people who just can't think straight and that are all there. So I had to troll them a bit. Like, that's the only trolling I've done on my channel. It was just absolutely hilarious that these people still freak out 20 years after the fact about reaction videos. Like I said on there too, if you're a creator I cover, you want me to take down a reaction of your video, I don't care. I'll do it. Like, and I don't ever intend to react to a creator that I purposely hate. You know, like, I don't want to hate watch. That's not just, I just don't care. I'm not going to hate watch on my channel. I guess this is the closest I'll get, is Kung Fu Hotdogs covering a clip that I would hate watch and have hate watched. So that's as far as it goes. But yeah, it's just, people are absolutely crazy.
Misgender them. By the way, this character right here is the Disney princess for Dragon Age the Veil Guard, because she's very whimsical and very, yeah, you get my drift.
Pulling above puts it on the person who screwed up. They made the mess, they fix it, done.
So look at your character choices. You can either maybe use it.
Remember, apologies aren't good enough to these people, and they even say it out here.
Are you good, Tosh?
Pounding that snake.
Yeah, and all these replies, it's even worse than Inquisition, and the dialogue choices in Inquisition were completely dog shit. But here, it's literally, you have usually 3 choices. It's a very nice response, it's a good response, or it's a neutral response, but still leaning to goody two-shoes. You can't do anything else. You can't hurt anyone's feelings. You can't call anyone else. You can't punch any of your teammates or, like, call them out and yell at them. You can't do any of that. This is... I had lots of problems with the writing with the Inquisition, and that was just one of my main problems wasn't even necessarily the limited choices for dialogue wheel itself. It was more of like just the bad things that you could and couldn't do, because I like playing like the Renegade, especially Mass Effect, like that type of thing. Usually I'm a goody two shoes with my comrades, and then I'm like a selfish kind of gets the job done no matter what badass or jerk, if you want to call it, on the like outside of my teammates. So the fact that you can't do that anymore in BioWare games, and even Inquisition, that was kind of really hard to do. And even in Andromeda, it wasn't quite as bad as Inquisition, but yeah, it's just, you cannot say anything even to like your non-comrades in this game. There are a couple moments I've seen where you can like punch someone, but those are few and far in between. And the dialogue does not match up, of course, classic BioWare, with the responses on the wheel. It's done worse than it's ever has been done before.
Snake's nose. She's still holding the ruby in her other hand.
Yeah, that's AAA video gaming, folks.
Don't worry, everybody. We're safe now. We are good.
I want to take you on over to the Steam DB charts. Have a look at this. So this is Monster Hunter Wilds. Oh, actually, beg your pardon. This is Dragon Age the Veilguard. And
Failguard.
33,000 players.
You missed half the pun.
All-time concurrent peak, 13 hours, 70,414.
I think it was Asmongold, or he was reacting to a video. Maybe it was Smug Alana. They worked it out. It was like comparing it to Wukong, 3 million sales, and it's about 3 times the peak. And yeah, if you figure it out, it's making way less than it costs now. Of course, that doesn't include console, but if you compare it to a game that also released on the same consoles as this game, it's comparative. But like in terms of peak number with the ratio versus number total bought for units, it's sitting at, I think he figured about close to 1 million copies sold, which is way, way under. And this is a game that's going to fall off hard. The only reason it's doing well is because Inquisition did well. Gaming comes in waves. So even if the next one is an absolute, if they ever get to a next one, but if the next one's an absolute banger of a video game, it's going to fall off a cliff. It may pick up because of word of mouth, but initial sales, they won't be there. Gaming always comes in waves, and people always got to look at the last game. That's why The Last of Us 2, absolutely mind-blowing sales for the first week. But the second week, GameStops and other stores like it literally had entire bins filled all the way up of everybody trading in their copies because it was such dog shit. They were so pissed off that the second week of sales for The Last of Us, even though they made an insane amount the first week, you could get it for, I believe it was like $9 at a GameStop. The second week, Last of Us 2. So you always hear these people defending these peaks. So like that's a lot of players. One, like I said, Asmongold kind of did like a rough math, and he was pretty straight on. The ratios should be roughly around there. So we are looking at probably around the $100 million mark. You take off the percentages and other cuts. Technically, there's other things that he didn't count in towards it, like marketing or other costs, which go towards like with stores and shipping fees and all that, because there's still like hard copies, obviously. But yeah, even with that, he figured out like 40 million or something, and the budget of this game is estimated like 250 million. So this is a game that'll drop off. It may have sold this a huge amount at the start. Huge. It's not huge for an 8 to 10 year development, but yeah, it's gonna sharp curve down, definitely.
Monster Hunter Wilds, and let's make sure we've got that correct. Have a look at this. In fact, let me just refresh this quickly. Look at that. You just seen it change before your very eyes.
Oh, you're being beaten by a demo or a beta, whatever it is.
123 viewers.
Oh,
right
come
now.
on.
And what's the viewership on Dragon Age the Veilguard? 26,000. Remember, Monster Hunter Wilds is an open beta testing.
Okay, open beta. He clarified there.
Look at that. The Twitch stats alone will tell you this is annihilating Dragon Age Veilguard into the absolute cesspit it deserves to belong in. 77,000 followers, right, for Dragon Age. Monster Hunter Wilds, 200.
And you got to remember too, BioWare at this point and for like a long time now, they're one of two things: Dragon Age, Mass Effect. Nothing else matters. That's all they have left. That's all they've been relying on for years now.
135,000.
So one of their two flagship titles going down like this, that is, I'm sure they were already in the cutting board with Anthem, but after this, no one would be surprised if a lot of people either got layoffs or the studio completely shut down. I think most people are actually surprised at this point that they haven't been shut down because EA closes for much, much less failures than this.
79 followers. That's increased from the last video that I made about this. Isn't that incredible? So again, I know some people have said Capcom have gone into the ESG, DEI route. They have a little bit, and
yeah, they definitely have started for a while now.
Savior of video games. Well, they are.
I mean, just look at, like, for those who have to deny it, even like Resident Evil 4, the amount of stuff that they cut out in there to be DEI compliant is absolutely crazy. They're still on the edge. They're not quite. They're kind of like Sega. There's certain little steps that they're doing or throwing in there, but they're kind of in between. Take that for what you will.
Two, in some quarters, shift up, namely, have embraced that bizarre.
Ooh, is that from the new one?
BlackRock. They are doing it, but of course.
Is this Monster Hunter, and is this from the new one?
You've got titles like Vindictus Defying Fate coming out next year, which will hopefully push back against that nonsense because we don't need it right now.
No, what is this from?
Do we need it at all in video games? No. Do we need more diversity? No,
okay, this isn't from it, but
it already exists in the sphere of video gaming.
If you've been in the Monster Hunter world, eventually they get to like certain lavish outfits, and with mods and everything, you never know with what they show. Like some of the stuff from Rise and Monster Hunter World has been pretty out there.
Bizarre. Even Mr. Matty Plays. I didn't know this when I made my video a few days ago, but he was getting attacked because he did not like Dragon Age the Veilguard. And yesterday he made another video where he was looking back at Dragon Age Origins, comparing the fact that how that was a better game compared to what BioWare, the absolute slop they brought out, thinking it's going to sell gangbusters. It won't, because Dragon Age has to sell at least maybe 3 to 5 times what it cost to make in 10 years to get any kind of money back, some remuneration. It ain't gonna happen. And I hope, and I'm bad for saying this, but I don't give a shit now, but I really hope this is the tombstone for BioWare, because if it prevents a Mass Effect game from coming out, a brand new title, some people are calling it Mass Effect 5. I'm just calling it Mass Effect 4 / a reboot, because people tend to forget about Andromeda and what an absolute pile of dog shit that game was. But on that one, ladies...
Hey, at least the combat was fun. Especially the multiplayer side, at least for a little while. You know, the inclusion of jetpacks and one of the biggest mods for it too, especially once you added it in, was unlimited class builds, and you could like swap in between them with like no cooldowns. The core concept is there baked into the game, but the mod pushes it further by just giving it a little bit more freeform. Especially with that, like the combat was absolutely amazing in Andromeda, but the enemy variety and everything outside of that was complete dog shit. So I can't blame anyone for hating the combat too of that game. Same with Anthem. Like the core gameplay loop and the animations were so much power fantasy and so amazingly well done. But everything around, including stuff tied into the combat itself, like perks and gear, just it failed pretty hard. That it doesn't matter how good core gameplay you have, if everything surrounding it is that bad, the game's a flop.
And gentlemen, yep, you're all very gender specific here. I don't care if you happen to be gay, who cares about that? But as long as you're not anything else, then I'm absolutely fine. Leave a comment below, smash and like that subscribe button. And if I were you, and if you were me, you may wish to return for the next video.
Are you smitten with Gemma the Smithy? Monster Hunter fans
Oh, wow. She's from Monster Hunter Wilds.
have fallen head over heels in love with this cute
Wow. That is
new character. So much
very
so
feminine.
brute forced the dating sim tag onto Wild.
And so much better than what we got in World.
Gemma fan art has appeared on social media after the release of the new
Yeah.
Monster Hunter Wilds trailer.
It's kind of like if you took... Well, I guess they kind of did it with Final Fantasy 15, was it? Sid from FF, make him into a good girl, and then transfer that model somehow to the art style of Monster Hunter.
During PlayStation State of Play. Monster Hunter Wilds producer said, "When we designed her, of course we knew she was going to be an appealing character, and that was the intention, but it's honestly gone beyond our expectations in terms of how much love has been poured out for."
What the hell is this from? G4, it says up top. Okay, wait, I have to go back now.
Yeah, coming out next year. That in some quarters shift up, namely have embraced the
Okay, so this is shift up. That's what he's saying this is? Because there's no way this is Monster Hunter. Okay. Well, either way, yeah. She's really well done. We didn't even get anything like that really from the NPCs in Monster Hunter World, so yeah, that's good. That's great. As before, if you haven't, subscribe to Kung Fu Hot Dog and like his video. All right. Catch you on the next, guys. See ya.